The company begins trading today on NASDAQ under the ticker SPCX in what stands as the largest public offering in the history of capital markets. As the home of innovation and the home of the innovation economy, NASDAQ is incredibly proud to be SpaceX's partner as it builds the physical and digital infrastructure of the future. Your mission is now backed by the financial engines of the public markets with access to every investor everywhere. Congratulations to the entire SpaceX team. We cannot wait to see what comes next. And now please join me in welcoming SpaceX's President and Chief Operating Officer, Gwen Shotwell, for her opening remarks.
Good morning, everybody. I am so excited to be here. Today we make history again. We have a history of making history. So I want everyone to know that we did open this morning in a rather exciting way. We launched. Falcon 9 launched Starlink satellites to orbit. So what company would do such a thing on the day that they open in the public market? SpaceX would, right? I am so proud of this team. Today, this year we are 24 years old. Elon founded this company in 2002, initially to build rockets and spaceships that will take humans to Mars, the moon, and even beyond. We've not quite gotten to Mars. We're almost at the moon. But let's just quickly run through the amazing things that you guys have accomplished. 2008, 6 weeks after a failure of Flight 3 Falcon 1, we got the first liquid-fueled rocket to orbit from a private company. Yay. Yay. By the way, I should have prefaced this with, everyone said we could never get to orbit. Check. But it was a little rocket. Then everyone said, well, you can't get a real rocket to orbit. 2 years later, we got a real rocket to orbit, Falcon 9. Oh, well, you'll never get to the space station, because that's what we really want to do, right? We want to take humans outside the bounds of Earth, but you'll never get astronauts to the space station. Check. We did that too. Doubters, right? Oh, you'll never fly Falcon 9 enough. You'll never get to production. 165 launches last year. Check. You'll never build a rocket large enough to take humans to the moon and Mars. We build one, we've flown it, and this year, I believe we'll get to orbit with that vehicle, and we'll recover the second stage. We've already recovered the first stage and reflown it. So good on you all for that, too. With the acquisition of XAI, we now, as a group, own the largest coherent gigawatt-class compute on the planet, which will help us truth-seek and understand the universe. So congratulations to all of us for that. So we're about 22,000 strong. I'm super proud that over half of us actually bought additional stock in this opening, totaling almost $1 billion. So thank you for that, too. But really, the thank yous go to all of you for hanging in there, for keeping a straight spine as the doubters doubt, to achieve historic things, sometimes every day, multiple times a week. Thank you, all of you, for doing this. And I hope today is a day that you feel great about and that you're celebrating. Take a moment. Now, the Falcon Recovery Team can't take a moment today, but everybody else can, and I hope Falcon Recovery Team could take a moment a little bit later. Yeah. And also, thank you to the families, the partners, the plus ones, the children, the brothers, the sisters, the parents that have lived through long nights, that have seen launch failures, that have seen AI compute go down, that have seen kind of the trials and tribulations of this incredibly difficult business. Thank you so much for hanging in there. I know I can't do this without my incredible partner and husband, too. I know you all have been a great source of support for all the SpaceX team, and you are a huge part of this success too, so thank you for that. I haven't mentioned Starlink and Starlink Mobile yet. We're probably connected through that, so incredible team to do that, connecting those that are unconnected, and I'm really excited about the future of that. In fact, as I was meeting with literally almost 1,000 people in person over the last 2 weeks and almost 100,000 through telecommunications, hopefully on Starlink, what was clear to me as I was talking about the future and they were asking questions about what we'd achieved and what we're going to achieve, what was clear to me is that we are just beginning. It might feel like a long haul, but it's going to be even more exciting going forward. So thank you again. I want to introduce my boss of 24 years, the chairman of this incredible company, the CEO of this incredible company, and the chief designer of this incredible company, Mr. Elon Musk, who is in Starbase, Texas, and he's celebrating there with 4,000 or 5,000 people. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Gwen. Gwen Shawwell's been an incredible partner and was one of the first people to join the company. And so thank you, Gwen. Oh, she's in New York, of course. Where is she? Yeah, it is certainly hard to believe that a little company that started in a warehouse in El Segundo is now going public for with the largest IPO that ever. And let me tell you, if people had told me this was going to happen, I was like, man, you must be smoking some really good crack, because I think this company's going to fail. I mean, I gave SpaceX less than a 10% chance of succeeding at all, to be clear. In fact, I told people this. I said, look, we're probably going to fail, but we should give it a try, because if we don't, if there's not a new company that enters space, we will never be a truly spacefaring civilization. While the other aerospace companies, they build good rockets and everything, they were simply not pursuing the technology that's necessary to make life multiplanetary, to make Star Trek, to make the exciting science fiction futures that we've read about real. And that's what SpaceX is all about, is to take the fiction out of science fiction and create an exciting, inspiring future for everyone. We want to be able to take anyone who wants to go to the moon, anyone who wants to go to Mars, or anyone in the solar system, and maybe beyond the solar system at some point. We want to be able to take you there. Not just a few astronauts. I mean you, literally you. If you watch, whoever you are watching this, SpaceX wants to be able to take you to the moon, take you to Mars, and ultimately beyond. And I'm confident at this point that with the incredible team that we have here at SpaceX, that we will do that for you. I always think about this. There are always problems on Earth. There are always problems on Earth. There are always things that we wish to be better, that we want to solve here on Earth, and we should solve them. But there also have to be things that get you excited about the future, that make you glad to wake up in the morning, because you can't wait to see what happens next. And that's the future that SpaceX wants to bring to you. Yeah.
You see 266? That's close enough, girl. Because the only thing FactSet gives me is NASDAQ, which is down 51, and the S&P up 6. We're talking to Laura? Okay. 54321. 54321. Good morning, Laura. You got it. No, you're fine. I just wish I could have just slotted this in. But I get it. Hey, good morning, Laura. You know, just moments ago, SpaceX President and CEO Gwynne Shotwell in New York, along with SpaceX CEO Elon Musk, remotely from the Star Base in Texas, rang the opening bell, celebrating SpaceX listing on NASDAQ. You can still see employees behind me. It will trade under the ticker symbol SPCX. It's one of the most highly anticipated IPOs in history and could ultimately value the company at $1.8 trillion. Checking on live stocks right now, looks like the Dow is up about 200 points and NASDAQ down almost 50, the S&P up 7. Costco plans to ask a California court to dismiss a lawsuit involving its Kirkland signature rotisserie chickens. 2 customers claim the company falsely advertised the product as preservative-free. Well, Costco says it updated its labeling and signage shortly after. In its latest filing, the retailer argues it did not violate advertising laws. Costco lawyers did not respond to media requests for comment. And country music icon Dolly Parton is launching her own coffee brand. Her Cup of Ambition line will be available as grounds or K-Cups in light, medium, and dark roast. The name comes from a lyric in her Grammy-winning hit 9 to 5. Cup of Ambition will debut next month at Dolly's Tennessee travel stop in Nashville with a national rollout plan for later this year. Laura, for us, it's more like noon, 2 to noon. You got it. All right, Laura, let's move on. Let's go to Fresno. You got it.
Part of the, I think, as Kathleen and Gordon have been talking about there, the Musk's personal brand driving so much of this. You know, it's not pulled out of thin air. In Tesla, there's essentially, you know, it's quite an old-fashioned industry. Automobile industry is a 20th century industry. So are rocket ships. Electric vehicles, OK, it was a new take, but he established a market. He made them not worthy and planet-saving, but desirable, dare I say it, sexy, built a brand. But didn't just build a brand, built value around his promises for what that company will do next, around robotics, around autonomous driving, which, frankly, again, when it comes to cabs, Tesla is way behind. And that's built a remarkable stock market value. I mean, he pointed out the other day, he's not a wallflower, is he? Not shy of pointing out that when there was some debate around what this launch would do today, Tesla's worth 1,000 times what it was worth when it was floated 2010, I think. I mean, the last 5 years have been astronomical for Tesla's growth. So there's an argument there that you don't have to own a Tesla to enjoy the benefits of Musk's company. I mean, if you're invested in those markets, you have made money. Yes. And that is clearly... So that track record clearly plays into what's happening with SpaceX. But this is on another scale altogether, because you take the company as a whole, it's not even easy to be exactly clear what exactly kind of company you are buying. He was selling a space company. Lots of people think they're buying an AI company.
Gordon, Kathleen, back to you both. And people may well have their money inadvertently invested in this without them having a say-so, whether pension funds get into it or they are holding tracking funds, that kind of thing. And Kathleen, back to you, because they may not like that fact. They may appreciate what SpaceX is trying to do, but they certainly, plenty of people here don't like what he's been saying on social media about the way this country is run, for example.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a very good point. But the NASDAQ is one of the best performing indices. It has outperformed UK indices over 5, 10, 15 years. So, you know, you've got to balance your personal views alongside your financial needs. So, for example, for pension funds, you know, you are buying, obviously, if a lot of pensioners in this country, a lot of people who hold ISAs, for example, will now, as of today, own part of SpaceX. And they may not like the fact that Elon Musk is in control of that and how much money they're giving him. But you've got to balance those two things in your mind. And I think usually people put their economics first.
And Gordon, to you, it is amazing, really, isn't it? We're in this era where people seem to be able to do things and there aren't really the ramifications that there used to be. You know, in recent months, years in the US, you would imagine that some people would take against what Elon Musk did with the likes of Doge, and his companies would take a hit. But it doesn't seem to bear out these days.
That's a good point. And I want to go back to Tesla. So clearly Tesla's stock price has been astonishing. But the bulk of Tesla's valuation has been predicated on the promise of full self-driving. And Elon Musk has been promising full self-driving next year. for the past 10 years. And right now, Tesla, I think by all accounts, is probably ranked last in full self-driving. So the Tesla stock price has been predicated on things like the promise of full self-driving, where Tesla has, I think, failed miserably, but also things like the Paint It Black video, where Tesla doctored the car driving itself around in 2016 to make it look as if it could. The battery day, where Tesla made a lot of promises around, developing a battery that never happened. When they acquired Solar City, where on the set of Desperate Housewives, Elon Musk put a fake solar panel on the top of the house to sell that acquisition. That solar panel was never sold. So there's been a lot of promises, and I would say gobbledygook, if you will, for lack of a better word, that have driven Tesla's valuation higher. But if you look at their sales, their growth, past 2 years, negative growth, margins declining, car business getting hit hard. So the reality of Tesla's business doesn't match the stock price. So I think with SpaceX, given it's already losing money and valued at 100 times revenue, I think that it may not have the run that Tesla has had, because I think already it's being valued like Tesla.
But to bring Paul back in on this, I think you could say gobbledygook. Other people would say just old-fashioned hype is what is causing all of this. And maybe that is the case. But nevertheless, people see it happening. They want to jump in. We see it with things like cryptocurrency, of course. There's nothing necessarily fundamental underpinning those, but it's just the market for the market's sake. And maybe that's what SpaceX and Tesla are benefiting from.
Absolutely. You mentioned crypto. When Elon Musk, we first became perhaps aware of his love of social media and Twitter, as many of his interventions around crypto could send Bitcoin soaring or otherwise. He has fans. He has super fans. He has people who follow his lead, not just with their interest, but with their money. And what's remarkable and so striking about this is that the biggest investors in the world are doing that, not without foundation, but with a huge amount to prove. I mean, the assumptions for the earnings and what this company has to deliver are almost as heroic as the science involved in trying to make it work.
We will return to discussing the flotation of SpaceX and Elon Musk becoming the world's first dollar trillionaire in a moment. But I want to just bring you this, which is a post from Truth Social from President Donald Trump. There you go, saying terms that Iran leaked out to the fake news have nothing to do with the terms that were agreed to in writing. This is him saying a deal was almost on the cards with Iran, Tehran saying not necessarily the case. He goes on to say what they said, including their weak and pathetic statement on having a deal, bears no relation to the truth. Very dishonourable people to deal with. With them, there is no such thing as dealing in good faith. Amazing, he says. Also, their totally rebuffed drone attack last night against Indian ships leaving the Hormuz Strait is totally unacceptable. They better get that act together and fast, says Donald Trump. So it really is pretty difficult to ascertain exactly what's going on, because it wasn't that long ago he's saying a deal is just hours, maybe a couple of days away. Tehran's saying their red lines remain. And now, as is often the case, Donald Trump has taken to Truth Social. And, here we go. This is one story passing on to another via what looks like a golden key. Maybe that was the key to Doge back in the day. And it is Elon Musk on your screens right now. Pretty sure that was not long after the president was elected. But it's a useful device for us to bring back in our guests, Kathleen Brooks at XTB and Gordon Johnson at GLJ Research, because we are discussing the biggest IPO in a very, very long time, perhaps even ever, Kathleen, would you say? I mean, this has been much anticipated, and certainly, based on early estimates, it looks like SpaceX has not only achieved the money it wanted to raise, but is going to exceed that.
Yeah, absolutely. It is the world's biggest IPO. So it's a very historic day for financial markets. You could argue that SpaceX has upended US financial markets. It's the 14th largest company in the world. It's traipsing all over the US stock market. I mean, it's more highly valued than the likes of Walmart, which is the world's largest grocery chain, Eli Lilly, which makes weight loss jabs, and JP Morgan, which is the world's largest bank. And, you know, we've spoken about this already. It is based on an idea, on Elon Musk's ambitions for space data centers, and for, you know, AI products that we don't even know what they are yet. So we're entering a very interesting time for financial markets, we could say it that way, where companies can list. SpaceX could end up today, if it does keep hold of its gains, it could end up worth more than $2 trillion. And yet it doesn't have that many hard assets. It's not like a physical asset company that we've come used to buying.
Well, exactly. And Gordon, I was going to ask you about that. And as Kathleen pointed out there, Eli Lilly and Walmart and others, they have tangible value. They make and sell things that people need. Are we now being told to believe in the imagination of this trillionaire and put our money behind him?
Absolutely. And I think that the valuation and IPO of SpaceX underpins the casino-like environment that we're looking at with markets. Again, the whole story of SpaceX rests with Starship putting data centers in space, right? Starship has been around for years. They've had 12 launches, multiple explosions, the most recent of which has grounded them. Starship is currently grounded pending an FAA investigation. Yet the valuation already includes the idea that they're going to be launching a ship a day with data centers in the sky. But I want to talk about the positive here, the financial engineering, right? So the indices that have, I will say, bent the knee to Elon Musk and allowed early inclusion include MSCI, the NASDAQ 100, Morningstar CRSP, and the FTSE Russell 1000. So what that means is from June 22nd to June 7th, as SpaceX is allowed to get around the regulation and list on these indexes, the passive funds that track these indexes, the pensions, et cetera, are going to have to, whether they like it or not, buy SpaceX stock. And when you consider that, for instance, when Meta went public, the free float was, as a percentage of shares, was 13%. I think Aramco was around 15. Musk is doing 4%, right? So the float is very short. So that's going to cause a lot of money into a very small amount of shares traded, which temporarily are going to push the stock up. So that's something to consider on the positive side.
I definitely get the sense, Gordon, you're not a big fan. But hold that thought, because we'll come back to you and Kathleen in just a moment. Next, though, Sky's Hannah Schnitzer has been taking a closer look at what this all means for Musk himself and for his company, SpaceX.
SpaceX famously pioneered reusable rockets, and with that, brought launch costs down dramatically. And that unlocked the next business, to do with what's on top of the rockets, Starlink satellites. But that's not the story SpaceX is asking investors to buy. When the company filed the paperwork to go public, one number got a lot of attention: $28.5 trillion. That is the market opportunity SpaceX says it's chasing. And only this small section relates to rockets and Starlink. 93% comes down to AI.
AI is mentioned more in the IPO prospectus than Jesus is mentioned in the Bible.
Why? Because earlier this year, Elon Musk folded xAI, the company behind Grok and X, formerly Twitter, into SpaceX. His pitch: data centers in space to solve the energy bottleneck.
If we wanted to use even a millionth of the sun's energy, the only way to access that energy, the energy of the sun, is to extend beyond Earth.
So that's the vision, but there's a catch, which explains why all of this is happening now.
AI is burning a lot of money. So when you're burning that much money, you need to raise money.
For its initial public offering, SpaceX is selling only a very small slice of the company, 4%, but at a huge valuation, $1.8 trillion, which would immediately make SpaceX the 8th largest public company in the world. But there's a problem. All these other companies on the list are profitable. SpaceX is not. But that's not how investors are looking at this.
It's a hype investment. It's, you know, it's vibes-based.
Vibes is an interesting term for it. Hope could be another term for it.
You ask anyone why they're investing, they don't say, oh, well, I've gone through the accounts, Grok is the best AI or anything like that. They say, never bet against Elon.
And he is what this IPO is all about. Elon Musk will keep full control of the company, reserving 82% of voting rights. So whether you buy in or not, you'll still be watching from the sidelines. Hannah Schnitzer.
Paul is with me still, and we're getting early figures now as to how well the flotation has gone. Paul, what are you hearing?
Yeah, so just to let people know what's happened, the book has been built in the last 2 weeks. Investors have bought in, which gives us that price of $135 a share. Then at 2:30 our time, those shares hit the markets, and despite everything being digital, it takes time for more than 500 million shares to literally start populating and be available to trade. Bloomberg are saying that the indications they have are that the opening price, which hasn't yet reflected in the terminal I'm looking at, the opening price for these shares will be $171 from $135. That's 26% up on open, which I think if you're Elon Musk counts as a result, right? Not only have you filled the book, Bloomberg also reporting, and I think this comes from SpaceX, that SpaceX has said there was, this has raised $75 billion. The demand from investors to be involved was $350 billion. So lots of people wanted to get...
More than 4 times what they wanted to raise.
More than 4 times. Lots of people have got on board. We heard Gordon just now talk about a casino-like environment in the markets. Well, if that is the case, Elon Musk looks to have timed his entry to this one very well indeed.
Very final word from both of our guests, Kathleen and Gordon, who's still with us. Gordon, to you first. A casino-like environment, you called it, but when you hear things have gone up 26% on opening, do you wish you'd had a bit of a flutter?
Great point. Listen, this is going to be great initially, but as Kathleen has highlighted and some of the other speakers have highlighted, there's just no there. Keep in mind, Starship has not reached orbit. It has not reached orbit despite 12 test flights, multiple explosions, currently downed. They need to reach orbit once a day to make this valuation even make sense. So I think we're ways away from this making sense. But initially, there's a lot of euphoria. So casino, it's going to go up, then it'll go down.
Kathleen, as Gordon rightly pointed out there, space is a vacuum. Is SpaceX vacuous?
Well, today is a really historic day. There'll be a lot of champagne corks being popped, I imagine, in Texas. But actually, it's not an interesting day for me. What will be interesting is when we see the earnings reports. That's what I love looking into. It's what all of us analysts will be diving into. The first one should come around September, and then we'll get them quarterly after that. And we see a lot of volatility in Tesla shares around earnings reports, particularly when they don't deliver or when they deliver losses or huge capex burn. So that's going to be really what's super interesting. And that will also be the first test for SpaceX's share price, because right now it's being artificially propped up, as Gordon mentioned, because of that small share float size.
Really appreciate you both joining me, Kathleen Brooks from XTB and Gordon Johnson from GLJ Research. Thank you both very much indeed. I know you'll keep a close eye on things. I'm sure we'll talk again as things pan out with the share price. But bringing Paul back in, because since you mentioned the profit it had put on in that short amount of time, it's gone up yet again. Where is it?
Yeah, it's got to $174 a share is the latest. So that's added a couple more clicks up, getting towards 30% up on opening. Very interesting what Kathleen has to say there when the earnings reports, when the normal choreography of running a public company, we start to find out...
The fundamentals.
We start to find out whether gravity will apply to SpaceX. The indications are thus far that it won't, and it's going to be a fascinating ride. Just flicking back, just having a little look here, just at Elon Musk's own wealth here. Forbes, which tracks, has a rich list. They've just got him at the moment just shy of trillionaire status, $982.6 billion. So what's $17.5 billion among friends? I mean, he's virtually there, more money than you know what to do with.
Yeah.
Should we say, look at his Twitter feed. This is the biggest deal of his life. Really striking. In the last week, he has spent more time, or as much time, tweeting and amplifying and tweeting about events in the UK.
Yes.
Some of the really politically contentious events, as he has on hyping his deal. And this is something I think the context for many people not intimately involved in the markets will wonder about, is about the power and wealth of this man and what he does with it.
Very good point indeed, Paul. Of course, he bought X, which used to be Twitter, and uses that often as his own personal mouthpiece. Paul, thank you very much. We'll be keeping a close eye on what happens to SpaceX this afternoon after it floated in New York on the NASDAQ. SpaceX company has listed on the NASDAQ in the biggest ever stock market flotation. Only around 4% of the company's shares have been issued. They were listed at $135 per share, but there are early indications they are selling for much more, even as high as $174 already. It means Musk is on his way to becoming the world's first dollar trillionaire. This was the moment the bell rang at the NASDAQ in New York and the listing was made official, with the team split, as you can see there, between New York and this in Texas, where Elon Musk spoke about the moment.
Let me tell you, if people had told me this was going to happen, I was like, man, you must be smoking some really good crack. Because I think this company's going to fail. I mean, I gave SpaceX less than a 10% chance of succeeding at all.
Well, it did succeed, or certainly seems to. Paul Kelso, our business and economics correspondent, is here with me, keeping an eye on things. OK, first and foremost, where is he with this trillionaire status? Let's get that out of the way first.
We are he is, according to Forbes, which tracks the richest people in the world, as does Bloomberg, and Forbes generally has him a little bit higher. Forbes at the moment have got him on 982.6 billion.
What a shame.
Absolutely.
What a shame. Hasn't made it.
The violins at this point are microscopic because he's not quite there yet. But the crucial bit here is we don't yet have a confirmed opening share price for SpaceX as it's listed on the NASDAQ market. What we know is that investors who bought in and bought 550-odd million shares ahead of this launch have paid $75 billion for them, which values the shares at $135. Both Bloomberg and Reuters are reporting that indications, and one's assuming they have reporters and they are in the market itself in the NASDAQ. The indications are that the opening price will be above $170.
Yeah.
So that's plus nudging 30%, 25-30% on that share price. That will make Elon Musk the first dollar trillionaire in history, probably the wealthiest man ever. I mean, trying to research exactly how it compares with previous industrial titans, you kind of have to go back to one of the Caesars who owned Egypt personally. And frankly, we can't put that in a chart. It makes for a good map, but he is the richest person on earth already. He's going to pass that milestone this afternoon. But the initial takeaway here is having brought to market a company that loses money, having sold less than 5% of that company, having given almost no control or influence at all to the shareholders, he has managed to get $75 billion and get a 25% bounce on that share price in the first few moments of trading. He would call that a success, I think.
Paul, it was famously said that in space no one can hear you scream, but here on Earth we can hear everything that Elon Musk thinks. And a lot of people will not like the fact that he is succeeding here when he likes to tell certainly people in Britain what he thinks about plenty of stuff that goes on here.
Yeah, he's not the first. He's not the first entrepreneur to ride new technology to untold wealth, or the first to have views that many people think are frankly obnoxious or worse. Henry Ford springs to mind. What is perhaps new about Musk is he owns X, the social media platform, and he has used that unashamedly to spread his views, to amplify the views of others. And when we know he worked in the White House, he helped Donald Trump, he's a US citizen, that's American politics. Here he is routinely, I mean, it's really striking, in the last week or two, on the brink of the biggest deal of his career, he spent as much, if not more time, retweeting and amplifying views on the extreme right of the political debate in Britain around the murder of Henry Novak, and the Belfast stabbing this week. So just within days of this launch, he's spending time. Rupert Lowe, the leader of Restore UK, Tommy Robinson, the anti-immigration agitator, both of them benefit from Musk's patronage, if you like, his amplifying of their tweets. He sticks his oar in a way that many people who probably already have reservations about so much wealth being concentrated in one person's hands, about the way he chooses it. He, of course, says this is a freedom of speech platform, but is, of course, a platform that he owns and controls.
And it is. The ownership of X is wrapped up into the ownership of XAI and also SpaceX. These companies are not separated. Tesla is, but these others that he is known for, they're all part of this deal.
They are, and that's what's so interesting about this company. SpaceX is the name of the rocket company that he's launched, and it's a viable company. It has transformed the economics of space. It really does. I mean, it's pretty brazen, bold move. They launched a rocket half an hour before they launched the stock price. That's a rocket company. He merged it with XAI, which includes X, for this float. And the received wisdom here is that's because he knows the money in public markets. People want to invest in AI. So if you wrap the two together, you can generate this incredible valuation. One of the interesting things about his AI business is it is seen as a laggard. It's behind OpenAI, it's behind Anthropic. But he says he'll build the infrastructure to run it, and then he will use, interestingly, X as a platform as the feedstock for the AI. He says it will be a truth-seeking AI. Lots of people will have questions about what kind of truth it will produce. But all those reservations are not holding back Wall Street. They are not holding back investors around the world. And many of us will, whether we like it or not, own some of this stock because of the way markets work within a fortnight. And at some point, we'll know exactly what that's worth. I'm just having another check. As yet, we still don't have a confirmed opening price, but indications are it's heading up like his rockets.
Yes, indeed. And this is all the test case for those others who want to float OpenAI and Anthropic being the ones. I wonder if they'll ask ChatGPT whether they can beat this IPO. We'll find out in due course. Paul, thank you very much indeed for the time being. Next, Sir Keir Starmer has rejected criticism of his defence spending following the resignation of his Defence Secretary, John Healey. His replacement, Dan Jarvis, started